Okay, the Joint Senate and House Higher Education Committee for the University of Minnesota Regent recommendations will come to order on Tuesday, February 23rd. So welcome everybody, and I look forward to a brief meeting and getting this over with in a hurry. It's my sense of humor, everybody. Anyway, the way we're going to do this is we're going to start out by a review and an adoption of the joint committee procedures. And what I'll do is I'll have Senate Counsel read the procedures aloud for the committee, and then we'll do a formal adoption of them. If anybody has any questions before voting, just go ahead and ask. And I'll call on Senate Counsel now, Ms. White, to go ahead and read the procedures that we're going to run the committee by tonight.
Good evening, Senator and members of the committee. My name is Joan White, and I'm with the Office of Senate Counsel. You were sent out the joint committee meeting procedures, which I will be reading. And like the Senator said, if you have any questions, just let me know. Number one, the Senate Chair will convene the proceedings pursuant to temporary Senate Rule 12.1B and the House of Representatives Rule 10.1, and the gavel will be passed after voting on each vacant seat. Roll call votes will be taken by the respective legislative assistant for each body. After a body has completed its portion of the roll call vote, the body's legislative assistant will announce the vote tally for that body. When the roll call vote is complete, the chair will announce the final vote totals. Consideration of candidates will proceed in numerical order of each congressional district-based seat, starting with the 1st district, followed by the 4th, 6th, and 7th. A candidate other than those recommended by RCAC may be nominated if the candidate receives the support of 2 senators and 3 representatives on the joint committee as required under Minnesota statutes and the joint rules. A show of hands using the Zoom raise hand feature will be called to determine whether an additional candidate has the support required to be included as a nominee. The chair will recite the names of all committee members supporting the nomination. Nominations will be taken prior to the presentations by RCAC candidates. Each nominated candidate shall be allowed to make a 2-minute presentation before the committee. Presentations shall be made in alphabetical order by last name. Once all the candidates for a seat have completed their presentations, nominees will be called to the table together to answer questions from members of the joint committee. Timing for the question and answer period is 15 minutes for each congressional district-based seat. After the allotted time has expired, the joint committee may allot an additional 5 minutes by a majority vote of the whole committee, one time for each set of nominees. A candidate will be recommended to the joint convention upon receiving a majority votes from the Senate, which is 4 votes, and the House, which is 10 votes. Voting for a seat shall begin immediately after the conclusion of the question and answer period for that seat. If there are more than 2 nominees for a seat and none receives the votes necessary to be recommended to the joint convention, any nominee receiving 0 votes and the candidate receiving votes but with the lowest vote total shall be eliminated. In the event that this process leaves only 1 candidate remaining, then only the nominee or nominees with the lowest vote total will be eliminated. If this again would result in only 1 candidate remaining, then no candidates are eliminated. If only 2 nominees remain for a seat and neither receives the votes necessary for recommendation to the joint convention after 1 round of voting, with only those 2 nominees on the ballot, then the co-chairs of the joint committee may call the remaining nominees forward for 1 additional 5-minute question and answer period. If after at least 2 rounds of voting, no candidate has been eliminated and no candidate has received the necessary votes to be recommended to the joint convention, the chair may declare an impasse, add the remaining candidates to a slate, and vote viva voce on the slate. If the slate of candidates receives the votes necessary for recommendation, the candidates on the slate are recommended to the joint convention. Proxy voting is prohibited. The joint committee shall not meet past midnight.
So I was hoping it wouldn't go past 7. So anyway, Are there any questions of council on the procedures before we adopt the procedures? Okay, and then
Mr. Chair, I actually have a question.
Oh, okay, Representative Marion.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator.
Sorry.
That's okay, Senator Tomassoni. Just a quick question about how you're going to be doing the voting. Will you be calling, will they be doing the chair of the House and then the minority lead like we've been doing in committee, or what is your procedure for actually the order in which you're going to be calling for the votes?
Well, I'm assuming it'll be alphabetical order. I'm instructing my LA to call on me first as the chair. I'm not sure what Representative Bernardi is doing, but I'm assuming it's alphabetical order. Okay, and I think the way to do this will be that when I'm chairing, the Senate will vote first, and then when Representative Bernardi is chairing, that the House will vote first. And we are going to rotate the gavel between each district. So, are there any other questions? All right. I suppose at any time, if you don't understand what we're doing, just ask, and we'll figure out exactly how to answer your question. So, on the procedures as presented by, you got another one? Sorry. What's his name? Representative Noor.
Thank you so much, Senator Tomassoni. The question that I have for you, there are some members who are struggling to join the meeting because of the way the setup was done for the Zoom. Can we make sure that all the members who are struggling to join the meeting are able to join this meeting?
Who's not getting in?
A few, Senator Tomassoni, there are a few individuals from the House who had some issues logging in because it requires you to type the ID, which is not a format that we have been using in the House Zoom call. So I can check with them if they're able to log in. I don't see them here right now, but at least I can check with my colleague Sean if he can check with the members.
Okay, if they're copying and pasting, that doesn't work. They actually have to type in the number. So,
Senator Tomassoni, you're correct, and that's the way that I was able to join the meeting.
Okay. So go ahead. I'm getting advice from staff. Huh?
Yeah, I would be happy for anyone who has members who are struggling to join the meeting. Please feel free to have them either email me or shoot me a text here.
Representative Bernardi. You're on mute.
Thank you, Mr. Technological Senator over there. Thank you. I appreciate that. I would just, I know we decided not to do this, but if we find that members are struggling to get on and we're not certain who it is, we could do a roll call just to make sure, but I will leave that to your discretion.
You mean to start
otherwise our staff could look to see who's here as well. There's a few options to handle this. Thank you, Senator.
There should be all senators are in. Are all the House members in?
I will leave that to our CLA to determine, our committee legislative assistant to determine that.
You have 19 total, correct?
Yeah, I believe we may be missing Representative Thompson, so I can reach out and try and help him get on.
Representative Bernardi, your hand was still up. Senator Clausen, did you want to say something? Or did you have an answer?
I was going to suggest a roll call, Mr. Chair, but seems like we've got it under control.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty easy to check and see if everybody's online. But just let me know when Representative Thompson gets online and we'll get going. I don't think we have to have everybody to just vote on the procedures. So does anybody object to voting on the procedures? We have more than a quorum. All right, on the procedures as read by council, all those in favor, you should probably unmute yourselves because we're going to do it viva voce and maybe stick up your finger too, or your thumb, I mean. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion is adopted. All right. Are we all online now?
I believe Representative Thompson was just able to join and Representative Kosnick is just joining.
Okay. All right.
Senator Tomassoni, I believe Representative Kosnick is still, oh, he just joined. Okay, we're good.
Okay, we're all good? All right. Try and stay on, everybody. Okay. The second order of business is to a review of the Regent Candidate Advisory Council process. Dan Walter, are you on somewhere?
I am, Mr. Chair.
Okay, why don't you go just identify yourself for the record and then go ahead and let us know what the process was.
Well, again, thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the Joint Committee. My name is Dan Walter, W-O-L-T-E-R. I live in Lakeville and am chair of the Regent Candidate Advisory Council for this cycle. I will go rather quickly for this because I know you got a lot of work tonight and I'm not the one you're here to hear from. But as you all know, the RCAC, Regent Candidate Advisory Council, was created by the legislature and is established in statute to identify, recruit, and recommend to this committee at least 2 and no more than 4 qualified candidates for each of the open seats on the board. The RCAC consists of 24 members, including 2 students appointed by the House and Senate to serve 6-year staggered terms. I want to, this was an interesting year because it's the first time I think in my nearly 10 years on the RCAC that we have had all 24 members appointed and seated for the process. And I want to just give a shout out to Representative Bernardi, because I know she worked very, very hard to make sure that happened on the House side. And former Senator Paul Anderson, I know, worked pretty diligently on the Senate side as well. That makes our job a lot easier when we have all 24 members of the RC seated and participating in the process. The RCAC is supported by the staff of the Legislative Coordinating Commission, who helps facilitate all of our meetings and the application process, much of which was online this year, which was a change for what we've had potentially in the past. All members of the meeting are open. All RCAC meetings are open to the public and recorded. This year, everything was held by Zoom remotely, just like you're doing today. So we kind of learned learned that by trying. As you know, there are 4 positions of the Board of Regents coming to term in 2021, 1 from each of Minnesota's 1st, 4th, 6th, and 7th congressional districts. We held our first organizational meeting in October. A number of subcommittees were created to carry out directives and make recommendations to the RCAC. Their work consisted of reviewing past practices, updating materials, and making a number of recommendations. The RCAC began actively recruiting candidates in October of 2020. Statewide outreach efforts included press releases, letters to the editor, contact with legislators, contact with other organizations, and just recruitment efforts, individual recruitment efforts by our members, and I know by a number of you as well. Throughout the process, the RCAC placed a high priority on diversity and recruiting candidates that would provide the legislature with a robust set of options to improve the diversity of the Board of Regents and to give you the best possible array of options as you begin this process. We did receive a total of 20 applications this year. We met in December for the preliminary screening of candidates to interview. After some extensive discussion and debate, we determined to interview all 20 candidates. 1 candidate did withdraw prior to interview. So we did interview in open session 19 candidates. I think you're hearing from 18 of them, I think, tonight. I believe 1 potentially dropped out. But we did that on January 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. And in the case of each candidate, the RCAC members reviewed the candidate application packets, which include some essay questions, some written references. And we conducted a 45-minute interview that had a wide array of questions. On Friday, January 8th, the RCAC voted in the final recommendations process to forward the 12 candidates to the Joint Committee for consideration. Those are the ones you're hearing from this evening. And as I mentioned before, one candidate did withdraw from consideration after he was recommended by the RCAC. So I want to just once again thank the legislative involvement that we had on the RCAC. I know Senator Clausen, Representative Bernardi, Representative Daniels, all are seated on the RCAC and sat through a full week of 20 hours of interviews and 5 hours of rigorous debate. So I appreciate that. I appreciate all the other members. There's a lot of hardworking, conscientious individuals that put a lot of work into this process. So I want to give a shout out to them. And Mr. Chair, that ends my report. I'll happy to stand for questions if anybody has any.
Thank you, Mr. Walter, and thank you all who sat through that testimony for all those hours. I appreciate it. Are there any questions of Mr. Walter? Senator Clausen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would just like to recognize Chair Walter. You just did an excellent job of leadership and steering us through the process. And Dan, greatly appreciate your work and your commitment to the RCAC over the years, and look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, I don't see any. And, you know, if you raise your hand and I don't notice it, unmute yourself and yell at me, okay? Because that might be just as good a way to get my attention. And with that, we'll move on to the third order of business on the agenda, which is Congressional District 1 candidate recommendation and the nominations. These candidates were forwarded by the RCAC and are automatically nominated. And the RCAC nominees for this seat are Val Arsvold and Ruth Johnson. Members wishing to nominate additional candidates may do so at this time. Nominations must receive the support of 2 senators and 3 representatives to be accepted, and the raise hand feature will be used for this. So if there are any other nominations for Congressional District 1, now is the time to make them. Representative no, I just see her. I see no hands up. So with that, we will go on to candidate presentation. The candidates will have 2 minutes each and will be asked to stop if they run over the 2-minute time limit. And from there, we'll go to interview the candidates with a 15-minute time frame, and members can ask specific questions of any of the candidates. So we do this in alphabetical order. So Val Arsvold will be first.
All right, if it's okay, I will go ahead. Good afternoon. I'm Val Arsvold, and I have dedicated my career of nearly 3 decades to growing opportunities for students. First as an agricultural education instructor for the communities of Wilmer and Plainview, and then as the executive director for the Minnesota FFA Foundation, where I build mutually beneficial partnerships. This experience and my commitment to hearing from many voices has prepared me to represent the 1st Congressional District to conduct the important work of the University of Minnesota. The university, with its 5 campuses, is uniquely positioned to serve students and really all Minnesotans. Being from the 1st Congressional District, I'm proud but not surprised that UMR would lead the way in delivering innovative programs that educate and prepare students to meet the growing needs for trained healthcare professionals. NextGen Med will be delivered in partnership with the Mayo Clinic and Google. I'm confident that this partnership will not only serve our state, but will be a model for other higher education institutions worldwide as we emerge from the pandemic. We are proud of our world-class medical system, and we are equally proud of the other business and industries that make up over 92% of the career opportunities and the tremendous economic growth within our district. In my work with over 35,000 AFNR students, I see many students leave our state to further their education, in part because of concerns over tuition costs. Some come back to Minnesota communities, while many others do not return, and their skills and innovation will benefit other states. Only 14% of the Twin City campus students are from Greater Minnesota, and although other campus numbers are up from this, it is not at a level that is needed to best serve our state. We have a responsibility.
Wrap up. Your time's up. Wrap up.
Okay, we have a responsibility to ensure all students have access. I'm committed to addressing tuition costs, growing a diverse university community, and fulfilling the mission as the state's university land-grant institution. Thank you.
Thank you. Ruth Johnson. Ruth, you're muted.
All right, do I get to start again?
You get to start again.
Okay, thank you. All right, good evening, Chair Tomassoni and Chair Bernardi and Higher Education Committee members, fellow candidates. I've spent my career in the practice of medicine and in leadership in medical education. And as a physician specializing in internal medicine, my first patients at Mayo Clinic were from the farms and towns of the southern Minnesota. In 1993, I became the founding director of the Mayo Breast Clinic, an innovative program for women with breast cancer that continues to serve 10,000 women every year. And currently, I care for business and professional people in Mayo's executive health program. I've been a pioneer in medical education, and early in my career, I was appointed associate director of our internal medicine residency program and its first woman leader. I also taught and chaired the bioethics courses at Mayo Medical School for a decade, and I created innovative curricula for both. I'm now in my 17th year on the admissions committee of our medical scientist training program. I've been a tireless advocate for the recruiting and mentoring of outstanding young people for careers as physician scientists. And I parlayed all of this experience into higher education, dedicating 16 years to the Board of Regents of Augsburg University, my alma mater in both Minneapolis and Rochester. And I understand governance in higher education. Regents are charged with oversight and not with micromanagement. Teamwork is essential to any enterprise, and I am a team player. I would work for the best interests of the University of Minnesota, its students, faculty, and staff, as I have for every institution I've served. And I have no personal or partisan agenda here at all. As a physician, my work is this. I meet people from all walks of life. I listen to their stories. I ask probing questions to clarify and consider preliminary diagnoses. I work with them and other tested specialists to determine correct diagnoses, and then in partnership with them, create treatment programs that are consistent with their values and preferences. This requires openness, humility, and a deep interest in them as people. President Teddy Roosevelt said, "Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care." And I would bring that ethic of caring and a legacy of leadership, innovation, and teamwork to my work as a regent. Thank you. Thank you for your dedication to this responsibility.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So members, now we're going to move on to the candidate interview. Candidates will be interviewed as a group. 15-minute total will be allotted. Once the 15 minutes is done, a majority of the committee can vote to extend the interview for an additional 5 minutes. And any committee member may ask a question unless the question is posed to a specific candidate. All candidates will be given a chance to answer the question that is posed. So at this point, I will open up the floor to any questions from the committee. We'll start the clock after the first question. I feel like this is like Family Feud. We won't start until there's actually a question. So. All right, let me start out with one then. why do you want to be a regent of the University of Minnesota? And that's for both of you, so you can go in either order. Since Val went first, how about if you go first this time, Ruth?
Thank you, Chair Tomassoni, for that question. I am interested in this position because I believe it can make a difference. I have a number in my background, an interest long-term in education. I'm particularly interested in trying to work with the University of Minnesota for its very important medical school and related schools. So for instance, of the $4.2 billion budget of the University of Minnesota, 40% of that goes to our academic health center. Those are 6 schools, the schools of medicine, dentistry, veterinary medicine, pharmacy, nursing, and public health. Those are incredibly important. And the University of Minnesota has been a leader in those areas over many decades. I was delighted to see that the College of Pharmacy is still rated number 2 in the United States. My father was a graduate of that school in 1951. The medical school had long been in the top 10 of medical schools around the country. There are 155 accredited medical schools in the United States, but in recent years, the university has slipped down in its ratings into the 40s. I think that it has great potential to climb back up in terms of its important research activities, as well as increasing and improving clinical activities. I think I have a great deal of knowledge and interest in this area and be delighted to work with Dean Jacob Tolar and others to look at ways that we can continue to move forward in the great tradition that we have for our medical school and all our health-related programs. If you look, you see that Dr. Michael Osterholm, who is kind of a national treasure, has been in the news extensively, someone we can all be proud of from the School of Public Health and in epidemiology. I think we have great capacity to attract students from Minnesota and keep them here in our state so that they have their education here and continue then to work here, providing both services and care and improving the economy of this state. That's just one dimension of what I'm interested in.
Okay, thank you. Val?
Sure. Senator Tomassoni and committee, thank you so much. I really would sum it up initially as putting students first. I have the privilege of working with thousands of students across the state every year, and I want those students to have a viable option with the University of Minnesota. I feel that there are underserved populations that need to be reached, and they need to have access to this quality education. I think that we can increase our diversity, whether that comes from our rural communities, our urban communities, populations that at this point are not being served. I'm committed to being part of the solution. When one of my visits with a state senator challenged me to think about a certain area that we have not always reached at the University of Minnesota, I took that to the next level, and I contacted an admissions counselor that specialized in that area so that I would not assume what the barriers were to the University of Minnesota, but rather hear from the very population of people that would like to have access to the University of Minnesota. I think student debt is certainly something that weighs on me. I'm the parent of college-age children and their University of Minnesota graduates, and I want our college to be affordable to our students in Minnesota. I want it to be attractive to those that could come and make a difference. I want our students to be educated in Minnesota so they stay in Minnesota, so that they find their home here in our communities and develop those skills and abilities and give back. I'm a little organic in that I saw the email came out and I said, I want to be involved. But it's not the first time I've been involved with the University of Minnesota. I've dedicated a lot of volunteer time and effort because I saw the value of my education and those across the state, but also the other pillars of our land grant institution. And I want to be part of that.
Okay, thank you.
Could I just follow up on that a minute?
Yeah, go ahead, but make it quick.
Yep. I just want to mention that among the things that I've done both at Mayo Clinic and at Augsburg University has to do to opening the doors to women and underrepresented minorities in all of these fields. I partly stayed on the MD PhD committee for 17 years so that I can continue in that leadership position in doing that. And we've been very successful in that. And I would also note that Augsburg University probably has one of the most diverse student populations of any private liberal arts college in state and has been very successful in that. So building on both of those experiences, I would be very much a leader in that.
Okay, thank you. Val, I'll give you another minute if you want to follow up also.
Sure, and I'll just quickly share that I recognize that Dr. Johnson does great things with the health area, but I too share a passion for it. That is not where my professional education is, but as part of coming up to speed on that, I have had conversations with UMD students who are committed to getting their education and returning back to rural Minnesota. Recognizing that's an area of growth for me, I reached out to those that are directly impacted and will continue to do that while serving as a regent.
Okay, thank you. Representative Noor, you'll be next, but it occurs to me we should probably have a time limit on the answers too. So let's answer the questions in a minute and a half. So Representative Noor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My question is in relation to an issue that both candidates have brought forward, the issue about justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. I just wanted to know from their practical sense. We know there's some challenges at the University of Minnesota in how to address those challenges. What have they done, or what will they bring to the table to be more inclusive and to have an equitable results for the students at the University of Minnesota?
Okay, Val, you go first.
Sure, thank you, Representative. In my conversation with Deanna Loggins, the admissions counselor for African American recruitment at the University of Minnesota, she really challenged me to understand that the problem is even before they are applying to colleges. But we did focus a lot on how can we remove some of those barriers. ACT scores or other standardized tests can be a barrier. If they haven't had access to the education leading up to those tests, suddenly their scores may not be reflective of the true knowledge and talent that they have. And so that was one of the barriers. Finding the resources to get them to apply and to consider it is important. But then once they're on the university, how are we building a culture that supports them and that they see themselves in each other and can come through the university and be successful as a group? So I think there's great potential, but I was very appreciative of Deanna Loggins' knowledge about how we could grow in that area. Thank you.
Representative Noor, you wanted both candidates to answer?
I like
yes, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think it's very important that we start early and help people who see that their opportunities are there for them. I've been instrumental here at Mayo in developing a program we call Native Pathways. It's working with a Native American woman who's on the board of the American Indian College Fund and with the Dean of Mayo Medical School. Native Pathways initiated last summer, in the summer of 2000, with the pandemic and by virtual means, but we had 15 tribal members from around the United States who were part of that program. They were juniors and seniors in college, and we connected them with both Native physicians and others here in leadership in medical education. And they came away with a strong sense that this was something that they could do. These were opportunities they may not have thought of before, but see that there are opportunities for them. And by meeting with others who are leaders already in their community, that's been very, very helpful. And this summer we'll continue that. And this time we'll bring in high school students as well, as it's important to get an early start and think as early as possible about career options.
Thank you. Representative Albright.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And this question is posed to both of the Regent candidates. It is no surprise to anyone on this committee that the university is currently wrestling with a deficit in their budget. And as fiduciaries and as regents are to the budget and to the stewardship of the resources granted them by the University of Minnesota students, as well as the state of Minnesota, I'm looking to both of you for an understanding in terms of what your specific, very granular objectives would be in terms of closing that gap. Platitudes are what we all hear, but I would like and appreciate, and I think for the benefit of everyone on this committee, if you would be as specific as you possibly can.
I think you're first, Ruth.
Okay. Well, Representative Albright, thank you for that question. It's a tough question. You know, whenever one assumes the responsibility of being on a board, one has to learn the details of budgets, and I've been starting to study those things. I would have to work with current regents and others to learn more so that I could be more specific about how we would address those. It's very important, obviously. I agree.
Well,
Thank you so much for the question. And, you know, a couple of things, I am always one that tries to find the positive in a situation. So the pandemic has certainly caused a lot of inconvenience and challenges and troubles. But I am really optimistic at how we could now look at online education as part of the solution, that we could grow the number of University of Minnesota students, and their tuition may help grow the numbers because they are taking the classes online. We turn down many quality students each and every year from walking the campus because our facilities can't support it. But in this online era, I am really convinced that we can grow opportunities and help students get through that education, still supported, but the non-traditional students that might be limited by financial resources or time that might not be able to walk the campus could now take our classes. The tuition that would come through online learning would help create some additional revenue. Thank you.
I'd like to just follow that up briefly with highlighting the hybrid degree program that's currently being developed here at the University of Minnesota, Rochester. And this is a wonderful program that is work together for the University of Minnesota, Rochester, Google, and the Mayo Clinic. And among the things this new hybrid program will, which will start in 2022, will use Google's platform to have both virtual and on campus experiences for people. We expect this could greatly enlarge the number of students that we could enter into this program, and the students can complete it in a little over 2.5 years. They would pay the tuition, but they'd have less cost for room and board and other things. So these kind of integrated programs with hybrid platforms, I think, are one excellent way of cutting costs and continuing growing programs at the same time.
Val, do you want to follow up?
I really think it's going to be a time when we look at new creative ways, and I think we'll reach students also on our outstate community, our outstate colleges rather, as tuition, and tuition will be the same or have its cost, but the room and board certainly is different when people look at innovative ways to get their education.
Okay, thank you. Representative Thompson, committee, I think it's a really good idea. There's only 2 minutes left in the 15-minute period, so does anybody object to extending the question and answer for 5 minutes? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
We'll extend the question and answer for 5 minutes then. Okay, Representative Thompson.
Just one quick question. We talk a lot about cost of tuition and but non-tuition expenses like textbooks, food, and housing continue to be, put college out of reach for more of the students. I'm asking, what strategies would you pursue to make sure that the universities play an active role in meeting the basic needs for our students?
Ruth, I think it's Ruth's turn to go first.
I think it wasn't.
Okay. Or did I get that wrong?
I think you did.
Okay, Val, go ahead.
I think we need to own that is the student's entire college experience that we need to be a partner in. So when we look at student housing, we need to be active in acknowledging and reference the role of housing in and around campus. So as new facilities go up, is it affordable to students, and what can we do to be influencing that? When it comes to food insecurity, first we have to acknowledge that it exists, and second we have to put programs in place to help those students, because obviously they might have obtained the funds to start, but they have to be successful there, and if they don't have the cost of the books and the food and a place to live, that's a problem. So I think the Board of Regents needs to look at the entire experience that a university student goes through and put strategic things in place. And I think that's the lens at which we need to look at it. As the mother of 2 boys up at the U of M, I want them to be cared for from the time they walk on campus to the time they end. And it's way beyond just that tuition check that they've submitted.
Okay, Ruth.
Yeah, I do think that affordable housing is a very important thing. And so that that is something that we as Regents would really need to look at and do everything possible to make available to students. And it's quite clear that students, if they have affordable housing and can live on campus with and near other students in their freshman and sophomore years, they're far more likely to be successful academically and stay in school so they can finish. We don't want students to accumulate debt and then not finish because they just are getting, they're not on campus, they don't have others to support them. And I think also we should look at having really excellent career counseling services for students to help them find ways to manage and to be efficient in their living expenses, and perhaps also can further look at on-campus employment as another way to earn some money while they're in that setting.
Okay. Any further questions? Okay, going once, going twice. I declare the question and answer session closed. So members, here's how we will proceed. Now that the interviews are closed, we're going to move to a vote immediately. The CLA from each body will take the roll call of their own members. The body that is chairing takes the roll call first, so the Senate will go first. If a second ballot is needed, the other body will take the roll call first and switching until the balloting has concluded. So the chair will announce the total votes for each question. So, Laura, take the vote of the Senate.
Senator Clausen? Senator Goggin?
Hang on. Senator Clausen, you got to unmute. Thomasoni voted for Johnson.
Senator Clausen?
Ruth Johnson.
Senator Goggin?
Val Arsvold.
Senator Jasinski?
Jasinski votes Arsvold.
Senator Putnam?
Johnson.
Senator Rarick?
Arsvold.
Okay, and now the CLA from the House. Will you take the roll?
Representative Bernardi.
Dr. Ruth Johnson.
Representative Christensen.
Dr. Johnson.
Representative O'Neill.
Arsvold.
Representative Albright.
Arsvold.
Representative Daniels.
Arsvold.
Representative Erickson.
Arsvold.
Representative Hansen.
Dr. Johnson.
Representative Heintzman. Representative Heintzman. Representative Howard.
Johnson.
Representative Keeler.
Dr. Johnson.
Representative Cleaborn.
Dr. Johnson.
Representative Koznick.
Arsvold.
Representative Kresha.
Arsvold.
Representative Mason. Representative Mason.
I apologize. Dr. Johnson.
Representative Meckland.
Arsvold.
Representative Noor.
Dr. Johnson.
Representative Sandell.
Dr. Johnson.
Representative Sandsted.
Arsvold.
and Representative Thompson.
Oswald.
Could the CA please call Representative Heinzman again?
Representative Heinzman.
Arsvold. Arsvold.
Okay, Heinzman votes Arsvold.
I got that wrong. Yeah, I got my vote wrong. I meant to put
The Senate vote was 3-3.
Pardon me. I meant to say Johnson.
Representative Thompson, would you mute yourself, please?
No, I meant to say Johnson. I said Arswell.
Oh, you want to change your vote? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Representative Bernardi, what was the House vote?
I want to consult with my committee legislative assistant. Since someone changed their vote, I want to verify what the vote total was. If she could share that with me, and then I'll repeat it.
Good.
Okay, we have we have 10 for Johnson and 9 for Arsvold, excuse me.
Okay. So we don't have a decision. So according to the rules, we take one more vote. And this time the vote starts with the House. So if your CLA would like to take the roll again, we can start a second time.
Representative Bernardi.
Johnson.
Representative Christensen.
Dr. Johnson.
Representative O'Neill.
Arsvold.
Representative Albright.
Oswald.
Representative Daniels. Representative Daniels. Representative Erickson.
Arsvold.
I'm sorry, Representative Erickson, I think I'm sorry, Representative Daniels, I think you were on mute. I'll circle back around. Senator Hansen, or sorry, Representative Hansen.
Representative Hansen votes Dr. Johnson.
Representative Heinzman.
Arsvold.
Representative Howard.
Johnson.
Representative Keeler.
Dr. Johnson.
Representative Cleavorn.
Dr. Johnson.
Representative Koznick.
Arsvold.
Representative Kresha.
Arsvold.
Representative Mason.
Johnson.
Representative Meckland.
Arsvold.
Representative Noor,
Johnson,
Representative Sandell,
Johnson.
Representative Sandsted,
Arsvold.
and Representative Thompson.
Johnson.
And I'm just going to circle back to Representative Daniels because I did not hear that.
Hear me now?
Yes.
Arsvold.
Okay.
Okay, Laura, take the roll of the Senate.
Senator Thomasoni.
Johnson.
Senator Clausen.
Dr. Johnson.
Senator Doggin.
Arsvold.
Senator Jazinski.
Arsvold.
Senator Putnam.
Dr. Johnson.
Senator Rarick.
Arsvold.
Okay, the Senate vote was 3-3, and I think the House vote was 10-9 again. Am I correct on that? We're in the middle of a roll call. Representative Bernardi is 10-9, correct?
I'm going to confirm with Ms. Mouse again.
That is correct.
10-9 to Johnson, 9 Arsvold.
Okay. Then having reached an impasse after 2 rounds of voting without dropping a candidate, I'll move that the remaining candidates be recommended to the joint convention as a slate. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion is adopted.
Here you have to ask for the no.
Oh, sorry. All those opposed? Okay, I was right the first time. Motion prevailed. Okay, all right. Representative Bernardi, the gavel passes to you.
Okay. Thank you, Senator Thomasoni, for leaving us off. Appreciate that. We are now moving to the 4th district. Before we moved into the candidate presentations, I will stop to ask if there are any nominations for further recommendations in the 4th congressional district. I see some hands up, and hold on one second. I need to get my participants showing with the hands up here. Representative Albright.
Madam Chair, that was my mistake.
Representative Noor.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to request a brief recess before we go into the conversation for the 4th district, if that is possible. I haven't made the motion, but I just wanted to make that motion for a brief recess so we can have a little bit of a discussion about the procedures before we reconvene.
Thank you. I will call the meeting into recess.
So, Madam.
Okay, go ahead. Representative Noor.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to give a little bit of a time, not too much, so that people are aware of how long it's going to be taking. We just need at least 15 minutes of recess, and we can regroup and then come back after 15 minutes. Everybody does not have to leave, so I'm asking our staff members to send a link for Zoom for us to have that conversation for that 15 minutes. So thank you so much, Madam Chair.
Okay. We will aim for a 15-minute recess. Thank you, Representative Noor.